Diem, great to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
No, I'm,
This
I'm
is
really
so
excited.
special.
Yeah, this is really exciting. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of projects to talk about. Just kind of in general, and I feel like
Yeah.
these first couple of questions will allow you just to talk overall about a lot of the projects you've been working on. You That script to screen journey is really interesting because at some point you get these scripts and you can picture a lot of things in your mind, and then at some point you go to production and then you see these worlds come alive. And with the Wheel of Time, Alien Earth, you've worked in these kind of big scale world. So like what is that experience like for you as an actor, that script to screen journey with these big scale worlds?
Yeah, it's been very humbling because you're on a project that has way more life than you've ever had. Like it's a life that started before your own birth.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of honor it somehow, and you're very quickly in awe of all the work that it took to get here. So you respect that by doing your work and by prepping yourself as much as possible and by talking to the actors and learning from them. And I'm really, really humbled by working with people who have done it for so long, and learning from them, and also just learning how to tackle this industry. There's so much to take in, and being in my favorite genre, which is fantasy and sci-fi. It's a dream come true. It's something I dreamed of when I was a little girl, and in Ivory Coast in West Africa, just thinking, oh wow, what if I could be a fairy, or an ogre, like just something other than me, for a change. Sometimes you just want to be someone else or something else, and being in these big projects and big scale projects really allow me to put on a costume and sort of role play and portray something I'm really passionate about,
Yeah.
and still use myself within it, and sort of combine the two worlds, my own and somebody else's.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was really cool what you said of like those worlds. And I'm wondering because it's project to project, and obviously, like you said, you're going to bring yourself to each project, but it's different worlds and different characters that you get to play, right? So I'm wondering, like, how separate are past projects compared to something like a future project? Like, do you bring things from like Alex Rider, Wheel of Time to something like Alien Earth, or are they completely separate once you wrap them?
I mean, I feel like you always bring a certain degree of your past characters. At least for me, like for Alex Rider, it was like so actiony, like
Yeah.
gunpoint and everything. So I could access that and apply it to my character Siberian in Alien, because she's also like at gunpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, she's basically, I'm not sure how much I can say about her yet, but she is a tough person, so
Yeah.
I could apply that energy to her. And with Sutama Wrath in the Wheel of Time, it was really important for me to bring that warmth, to remember the warmth that I had in Washington Black and bring it to Sutama. So she's also a protector, and my character in Washington Black is also a protector of her village, of her tribe. So I see myself being drawn to very particular roles where I get to also be vulnerable and
Yeah.
also get to be other than this strong Black woman, which I am. I mean, but I like to also just be human. And
Mhm.
and Black women are human. Just because we're strong, our strength is also to protect our vulnerability and our softness. And we want to show that as well.
Yeah. No, that's really, really well said. You also kind of said something that was very interesting in regards to the vulnerable kind of aspect and these characters that are like the human component to characters. And I'm wondering because there's been characters that you've played that maybe have been more of an example of this than others, but
Mm.
this self-reflection, lost, soul-searching component of these characters, right, where these characters don't know what's going on and everything. I'm
Yeah.
wondering from an acting perspective, is that more fun or challenging to play like lost characters doing self-reflection, don't even know what's going on? Because from the viewer perspective, they don't know they're lost. So I always found that I'm a filmmaker as well, so I always think about these things. So like,
Exactly. I mean, I like starting my character as someone who's a little lost, because weren't we all in the beginning? And
Yep.
sometimes I still feel lost. But you know, the 20s are obviously for figuring out what you want. So I always just tap into that
Mhm.
if the character is feeling a little lost. But I do like characters who have a purpose,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes it takes time to find that purpose. And that's also what I love about the Alien franchise, because the one of the themes are to find out what's your purpose, what's your function here, and you'd rather have a purpose for yourself, something that you've chosen, than being a function, something an entity or a company has chosen for you. And to sort of interchange or play with those two things, being a function for somebody, or and finding your own purpose, I think is really interesting when it comes to being in these projects and just acting in general. um, because one is very machinery, like a function, oh, you should do this and be on this mark and whatever, and another is the human aspect of it, you know, what's your purpose, what do you want to bring to this life, you know.
That's so interesting.
um,
I never really thought about it that much. It's true because it's like the technical component of it, right? Of like acting, and then there's yeah, that's. I feel like a lot of that, a lot of the things that you were talking about, the other side about like the characters and everything. A lot of that happens before you go to camera too, right? Like a lot of that is like part of the prep.
it's part of the prep, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure, and part of the conversation with the director, you know. To me, I've actually only had like one like sit down
for
with the
sure.
director, and that was Noah. Like, he was very open about us coming in and asking him questions and asking questions about our characters. And so we sat down and we just talked about everything that I had on my heart in my heart, and it just felt more real, also because it is such a big project and you don't want to disappoint the fans. You want to do everything you can to honor whatever franchise you're in, whether it's Wheel
Yes.
of Time or Alien or whatever I'm going to be in next. I
Yeah.
want to be able to, if I can make nerds happy, I have won,
Oh,
because
the nerds are so excited for everything. Let's be.
honestly, like, I'm a nerd myself,
Me
and
too.
so I would want people to respect the love I have for a particular world or a particular entity enough to bring their all, you know.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be the kind of person who gets mad at that person if the project doesn't end up that good. But the respect, the level of respect of putting everything in it, that is what is expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that.
Well, I have two more questions, and one of them, it's almost like when you brought up the director, like the conversation, it's almost like you knew it was like a perfect segue to my next question. It's almost like you knew what I was
Oh.
gonna ask. Well, because no, because there's the acting, storytelling component, then there's the creative component, right? Going behind the camera, and you worked on something called Bad Bitch, where you were a writer on it, and
Yes.
you were actually in it as well, right? And
Yeah.
I find it interesting because those are two separate things, and depending on how close a project is to someone, and if they like, it might feel like two jobs, right? It might feel like the writing, there's going to be different conversations as the writer, there's going to be different conversations as the actor. What was that like with Bad Bitch? Did it feel like separate? Were the conversations the writer different than the conversations as an actor? I'm just curious about that.
I mean, it was the most surprising thing of all in that process was to go from being a writer, a head writer on the show, a show that I pitched and, you know, created in my mind while cooking, um,
Yeah.
and then suddenly pushing it aside and becoming the lead, the actress, reading it again, rereading it, and rereading it, and being like, this doesn't make any sense, or I just said that on page two, and what if we go there instead of here? I mean, it felt like I read my old version stuff, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, it felt like I had tapped into a new skin, so now I was able to read it with different eyes. And I didn't expect that to happen. I was really scared that I would not be able to see the script clearly because I had written it with my co writer, Eska. But it was just so so weird and special to me to be able to read it in a new way. So it was actually quite easy to jump into being an actor. It was more like the load you carry as a lead. I felt that every single day, and I think next time I need to learn that it's not just about me carrying a show. And that's what I really learned, that just because you're the lead, you're not carrying the show, even though you might feel like it, or especially if you wrote it. And especially if everyone around you keep telling you, like, oh my God, you better bring it, you know? But everyone is carrying it. The production designer is carrying it as well. The director is carrying it, the cinematographer.
Yeah.
So
It's a team
it's
effort.
a
Like,
team
oh, it
effort.
is. It's
And
crazy.
so, whatever pressure you're feeling about, oh, what if people don't like it? Then they won't like me, or whatever. All of that is like insecurity and fear. And I heard like this really awesome quote yesterday. Like, fear knocked at the door,
Yep.
faith opened, and no one was there. And I was like, ah, that's my life. Because if you have faith, then where's the fear? You
Yeah.
just have to believe that it will happen. And I hate that Nike just took that "just do it," but honestly, you have to just do it. It's the perfect
If
slogan.
someone says no, don't you
Yeah,
just move on, right?
you just move on. How many no's are you
It's
gonna
hard
get
for a
in this
lot of
life?
it's hard sometimes.
It's so hard. You should have seen me in the beginning of my career, like 6 years ago. I was an extra for 2 years, until I suddenly was tired of being basically a banana peel. Because let's face it, a banana peel is versatile. You can use it for everything. It's very versatile. It's nutritious. It has pesticides. But I felt like I was being used in the background. Like, I was being used for walking a dog and for being a standby and whatever. And I laid in my bed and I was like, I want to stop dreaming of what I want to do and do what I've always dreamed of. And so I started just writing to every director out there, and sending like little scenes, like, hey, you used me for an extra, to be an extra. What
Mhm.
if I was a character? What if this was my journey? And that's how Bad Bitch happened. I just continued and continued on being this annoying email writer.
That's what you
Like,
gotta do though, and
and that's
I'm
what you
I'm so
gotta
happy
do.
for you, honestly. Like,
Thank
look at
you.
all the amazing things. I mean, look, we're like, you're talking about your like that kind of start, right? And now
Yeah,
we're chatting about the fact that you're gonna be in like a new TV show, Alien Earth, which is part of one
yeah.
of the biggest franchises ever, right? So it's like pretty crazy.
It's
Um,
crazy.
but yeah, it's definitely it's a long journey for sure. And then my last question.
Yes.
Alien
Yeah.
Earth, I know we can't say a lot about it, so this question's more kind of general. Kind of in the beginning of this interview, you talked about it a little bit when I asked you that scale question, right? About working with Wheel of Time and everything. Um,
Mm.
I do want to know though your overall kind of like mindset when you book this, because there are the alien movies and that world from
Yeah.
the past, but this is its own thing. This is Alien Earth, right? So this is like, do you like think about Alien and that universe and that franchise a lot while you're making this, or do you feel like this is Alien Earth? Like, I find that very interesting. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're already making me sweat because of the pressure, girl.
No, no, I don't think
I
there's no
mean,
pressure. It's
I'm
a great
kidding.
thing. It's
No, it's like
amazing.
it's just, every single day that we're getting closer, I'm realizing how big this is.
Yeah.
And I already knew from the start. I mean, I cried, broke down in front of a 7-Eleven here when I got the news. Very pathetic, but I loved every moment. But it was just like, it's very present, the
Yeah.
fact that you're in a franchise, whether it's the media training or whether it's the emails and the the responsibility basically of coming in, bringing your A game, whether it's on set or outside of set, or if you're going to the Comic Con or the premiere and everything. You really have to sort of acknowledge the fact that this is an IP. This is already a world that is very, very beloved by everyone. Whether you're scared of it or whether you're fascinated by it, it's so loved. And so to me, it actually means a lot to be part of it because of me basically being a manifestation of what can be done, being a manifestation of what's possible for someone who looks like me. So that's the personal aspect of for me to be in it, is that I get to show someone out there that it is possible to be on a show this on this scale. And in with Noah, I mean Fargo, I mean come on, it's like one of the best shows. And with this cast and these people, that it can be done if you just do it and put your mind to it. And never let any naysayer stop you, because you're going to get a lot of no's. Even if you're number one on the call sheet, you're still going to get no's. So you might as well just do it.
No,
Honestly, you have nothing to lose.
absolutely. No, that's so well said. And I'm so happy for you. That's going to come out in August, and I can't wait for people to see the episodes of Alien Earth.
Can't wait.
And yeah, there's a lot of others. There's also Washington Black on Hulu. There's a lot of projects they can check out that you're in. But Diem, so great to chat with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. You're so great. Your energy is like so infectious. Like I was so tired today. I was like, oh my God, let's bring it.
No, I appreciate you saying
it.
that. And you have an Instagram account, right? It's just your name, right? Diem Camille, if people want to keep up to date.
Yes.
Awesome. And they'll look up for a lot of cool things. Awesome. Well, this has been Popturnative, youtube.com/Popturn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Diem Camille and PD Beats signing up.
Thank you for tuning in to Popturnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popturnative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.